Hello, welcome to Business Live. Coming up tonight, engineers and planners announces takeover of Black Volta and Sankofa gold projects from Azumah Resources. But has this deal really been concluded? We hear from the lawyer of the firm. Also coming up, Ghana to miss out on financial support from Millennium Challenge Corporation next year due to delays in finalizing debt restructuring deal. Plus, IMF team expected in Ghana later this month for last but one review ahead of program completion in May next year. Thanks for joining us, everyone. My name is Daryl Kwao. Details coming up. And welcome back. First up, mining services firm Engineers and Planners has announced that it has taken over the Azumah Resources Ghana and its Upwards Resources firm. This was after it completed the share transfer agreement with the beneficial owner. But has this deal really been completed after a supposed statement from Azumah Resources denying the deal? Let's get on to Zoom, speak with lawyer for Engineers and Planners, Bobby Bansing, on this issue. Good evening to you. First off, what is the basis of the claim by engineers and planners that this takeover deal has been concluded?
Good afternoon, Daryl. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
This is Daryl. You know that per the laws of Ghana, if anybody claims to be the owner of a company, either sole proprietorship, partnership, or limited by liability, limited by guarantee, there's only one source to confirm this, right? And that is the Register of Companies. And so if engineers and planners say that it has taken over as the owner of these companies, then it means that engineers and planners, and I believe as indicated in the statement that was issued, that they have completed the equity acquisition of these companies. And the equity acquisition is the shares, owners of the shares as have been issued at the time of incorporation or subsequently. And engineers and planners have completed an agreement with the said owner and have acquired all the issued shares in these entities that own the Black Volta and the Sankofa gold projects. So now you made reference to a statement that you said was issued by an entity claiming otherwise. Have you seen that statement yourself?
I have seen that statement. I have it in hand. I could read bits of it for you.
Who signed? No. Can you tell me who signed that statement?
Well, it doesn't have a signature to it. Unless, of course, if
at the end of it,
there's a name at the end of it for media inquiries from Priyanka Dutt, Account Director, Rastrum, for any further information concerning this.
Have you found out what Rastrum is?
Maybe you can help us with that information.
A simple Google search will show you that it's a PR company. So the statement you have, it's as if Multimedia, I have issued, or Multimedia Limited has issued a statement, and the statement is not signed by any officer or employee of Multimedia, and the statement is rather signed by, let's say, another entity. And so you know how to treat those statements. And so, like we've indicated, as far as EMP is concerned, it has completed all the legal requirements to acquire all the equity interest in the entities that own the projects. And any person who is claiming otherwise would have to present a legitimate claim to be considered by EMP.
Well, just for the sake of emphasis, we had an earlier statement also from Azumah Resources Ghana Limited initially when they said they had agreed to the acquisition of the Sankofa and Black Volta projects. Also didn't have a signature to it, only said management, Azumah Resources Ghana Limited and Upwards Resources Limited. But we've seen this go back and forth, and we know the history behind all of this. I mean, the dispute initially concerning this acquisition. And so it leaves Ghanaians pretty much confused about what is going on. So I guess the question is what is going on.
If somebody says that he's the owner of a company, there's only one place to confirm. You know that. That is the Register of Companies. And so if Daryl says that you own Multimedia, and Kwesi Chum says that you do not own Multimedia, any person who is confused would have to go to the Register of Companies to confirm who owns Multimedia. And so, like I've indicated, EMP in their statement stated categorically that they have completed the acquisition of the equity shares as Registrar General's Department and the Minerals Commission. And for us, that ends the matter.
Well, while we try to establish the authenticity of this statement, as we cannot prove it here and now, whether or not it is from Azumah, there's also another question.
The one signed by Rosto.
Both statements, actually.
Okay.
So I just want to point out the fact that also questions have been raised about the lands ministry or government per se who hasn't come out to say this acquisition has pulled through. There are some analysts who say we can't take EMP's word for it if we hear from the government. What do you say to that?
No, this is a private transaction. The government of Ghana has no role to play.
No role at all?
Yes, except that per the Mining Minerals Act.
But it should interest the government, shouldn't it? Just asking.
No, there are two things, Daryl. You are talking about the process of the acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that these are private entities. If you look at the Minerals and Mining Act, it states that before you acquire any interest in a company that has been granted lease, you must get the no objection letter from the government of Ghana acting through the Minerals Commission or the Ministry of Mines and Natural Resources. And you will notice that in the statement issued by EMP indicated that it has acquired the no objection letter. And as far as the acquisition chain is concerned, that is the role of the government of Ghana acting per the state agencies that have been listed. So that process has been completed. It is not as if it's government of Ghana had shares properly so-called. We know that for after operation, when the mine starts, per the laws of Ghana, the government of Ghana has a carried interest of 10% free, but that is only after production. But before that, it's a completely private agreement. The government of Ghana would only come in the context of issuing a no objection letter through the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources on the recommendation of the Minerals Commission as provided for in the Minerals and Mining Act. And this has been done long ago. That is why the statement by EMP stated categorically that this has been done.
All right. It'll be interesting to see how this proceeds going forward. So I guess the stance of the EMP is to disregard this statement supposedly from Azumah Resources. And what is the plan going forward? What's the plan going forward?
No, EMP, I'm sure in due time will announce its plans relating to the development of the mine and other matters associated with it.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm sure we would have some more conversation going forward. Thank you, Bobby Banson. He is the lawyer for EMP as we continue to digest the news about its supposed acquisition of Azumah Resources. Well, meantime, Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, CEMSI, Benjamin Isia, has urged government to initiate reforms and reorient players within the mining sector. He emphasized that increasing the dominance of local businesses in the industry would help boost national revenue and strengthen the economy. He made the remarks in an interview with Joy Business.
It is incumbent on us to also, as a matter of national policy, reorient and involve local participation within the space. And I think that I must commend persons who initiate some of these arrangements to ensure that most of the mining firms are done by locals or local ownership of that particular sector. For example, gold has seen a lot of surges, almost about 50% surge between last 2 years and this year. Imagine most of these mining rights are owned by, or mining companies are owned by Ghanaians. It means that our economy domestically is going to improve because there will be some level of capital injection within certain spaces and also level of liquidity absorption instead of maybe getting foreign companies come to take everything and then we are left with our 10%, or even if you look at the mining act carefully, it's within 3 to 6% of government ownership. I think that we must ensure that Ghanaian businesses, Ghana as a state, and other investors with dominant Ghanaian liquidity participate in this particular sector to ensure that we get a whole lot of revenue from that sector.
Well, speak of gold, the Bank of Ghana's gold reserves have risen to 36.02 tons as of the end of August this year. That's according to a document released by the central bank. More in this report.
Data showed that since the beginning of this year, the Bank of Ghana, through its gold purchase program, has increased its gold reserves by a little over 6 tons. The program has played an important role in Ghana's international reserves, as well as the recent record appreciation of the Ghana cedi against the US dollar in the second quarter of this year. But with rising prices of gold and some market analysts projecting that it would hit $5,000 per ounce, that could come as good news for Ghana's economy. This is because recent World Bank data has shown that Ghana's economic turnaround has been fueled by rising prices of commodities like gold. The Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama recently announced that they are looking at hedging a fraction of Ghana's gold reserves in terms of the prices that they are getting for the precious commodity.
Well, moving on to this other story, Ghana will not receive any financial support from the Millennium Challenge Corporation USA next year. This is due to delays in reaching a debt restructuring deal with some American firms and state institutions. Here's more in the following report.
Ghana was in some discussion with the U.S. government to secure some financial disbursement under the Millennium Challenge Corporation for the energy sector. Now, sources say the country had made some significant progress in securing these funds for the energy sector. There were also some discussions to help Ghana possibly secure fresh compact program. This was after the Trump administration announced it has no objection in going ahead with the compact program, despite expressing some initial concerns. However, during a Senate engagement with the Challenge Corporation, Ghana's issue was flagged. Millennium Challenge Corporation then went ahead to put Ghana in list of countries that will not get support for the corporation during its board meeting. However, sources say the issue are more than the debt restructuring deal, as some diplomatic issues that have come up recently may be the underlying reason. But some industry persons say the development may come as a big blow to Ghana coming on the back of the US aid suspension for the health sector. Some persons have argued that one good thing about the U.S. assistance is that it comes in the form of aid or grant, unlike other countries where it's more of a loan.
Well, joining us on phone, international relations expert Professor Vladimir Ntridan. So good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Business Live. What do you make of this development and reasons being given by the MCC? Okay, I don't think we have Professor Vladimir Ntridan on the line. We will try and re-establish contact with him. When we do, we'll carry on with the interview. But turning to other news, okay, I think that we have Professor Vladimir Ntridan on to speak about this story we have been reporting about the MCCE warning. Oops, that appears to be the line that has just dropped on us. You're watching the Business Live. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we have some more stories for you. And welcome back to Business Live. An International Monetary Fund team is expected in Ghana later this month for the last but one review of the country's program, which is scheduled to conclude in May next year. That's according to information obtained by Joy Business from sources familiar with Ghana's ongoing engagement with the fund. George Rafi has more in the following report.
This would not be the last review before the program ends, as there will be another one in April 2026. That will be the final review for Ghana before the program ends with the IMF in May 2026. A review that will take place later this month has been described by some as very important, as the IMF is now worried about whether Ghana will stick to the fiscal discipline post-program completion. The review will primarily focus on the economic data ending June 2025. We understand that some of the issues that will come up strongly during the review is Ghana's inflation performance, the sustainability of Bank of Ghana's reserves build-up, a report on the audit of arrears, and weak private sector banks that needs to be recapitalized, as well as state banks. The rest will be how government is working to deal with the revenue shortfalls in the face of the cedi's appreciation against the US dollar, social spending shortfalls, as well as arrears build-up in other sectors. If Ghana passes this review, some $360 million should be disbursed to hit Bank of Ghana's account in October this year. Since Ghana signed up to the IMF program, it has so far received some $2.3 billion out of the $3 billion promised under this fund program.
Well, back to our earlier story about Ghana not receiving any financial support from the Millennium Challenge Corporation USA next year due to delays in reaching a debt restructuring deal with some American firms and state institutions. Joining me on Zoom, international relations expert Professor Vladimir Chidanzo, actually on the phone. Good evening to you. Thankfully, the lines are working now. What do you make of this development and the reasons being put out by the Millennium Challenge Corporation?
Well, thank you for having me. I am not very much surprised at all. In actual fact, when you are in the good books of the U.S., you get whatever you want. At the initial inception of the MCC, Ghana got $440 billion and approval for Africa, which means we got a big chunk of it. Now, the account also, Matthew, is part of or is within the confines of the 1961 law, by which the U.S. tries to project its foreign policy outside what it wants. And so it is more of security, more of politics, and more of influence. And so if they think they cannot influence Ghana now, they will have that machination of trying to move us away from the MCC until we behave the way they want. So I am not very much surprised. Even though a U.S. court had indicated that the 11 billion approved must be disbursed, the Trump administration had whatever it takes. They appealed and they lost the appeal also last Friday. So I do not know what might happen. But personally, if you ask me, I think we should now read the signs on the wall that we must be resilient in our management of our debt, in the management of our economy, in such a way that we will not bank our hopes on the MCC, whatever it is.
Yeah, and like you point out, there could be diplomatic issues behind this. So how do we address this moving forward?
Well, personally, if you ask me, you can't force the U.S. until do their bidding. If we are prepared to play ball with them, fine, then we get it. But if we want to be resilient and dig our own way out and not rely, because if you rely on this permanent, then you will see that you are hiccuping a certain when they will stop. So for me, yes, automatically we can ask for review. But if they don't, let us be resilient in our, let us understand what is at stake. Because what they might be demanding of us might be some security guarantee. Give us your airspace for something, or give us an airbase, or give us whatever it is, which they are doing to almost every country. And they've done this to every, and they are building a jumbo jet-size kind of airfield in Koryogo, and all is geared towards annihilating whatever is going on in Burkina. Because what does Koryogo need in the northern part of Ivory Coast? A big jumbo jet-size taking runway. Why so? And then if you read the text, it's very annoying because they are demanding a lot, as if they are going to take the Ivory Coast security into their hands, one way or the other. So they might be demanding something also from us. They may not like what is going on in Burkina and Niger and others. So they may demand, Ghana, give me your Tamale airport. I will extend it to his house or whatever it is. So there is the possibility of they using this ploy to force Ghana to give out something. But if I were the government, I'll be resilient. I'll let Ghanaians understand. Yes, the Millennium Challenge account helps. But if it is not there, if it were not there, what would we do? So that's my take on it.
Yeah, and just so our audience can appreciate, while we talk about resilience, what could be the possible impact on our economy at a time when all these donor inflows are being cut?
Of course, if we have planned to use that whatever we get from there for projects, especially the energy sector, it means the withdrawal would mean that we'll be hiccuping in that area. And when we are hiccuping, Ghanaians will, agitate or whatever it is. But if we make them understand, this is the time for understanding. This is the time for realizing that it is better to be resilient in planning your economy than being held to ransom where these things are concerned.
Thank you so much. Appreciate speaking with you, international relations expert, Professor Vladimir Enchidan. So appreciate your time. Well, GCB Bank PLC has launched a specialized savings product, the GCB Hajj account, to help Muslims adequately prepare financially for the annual pilgrimage to Mecca. The account is designed to ease the financial responsibility of prospective pilgrims whilst providing a secure and structured way to save towards the journey.
The launch of the GCB Hajj account took place at the National Mosque in Accra and brought together GCB Bank's executive management alongside prominent Muslim leaders. Described as a bridge between faith and finance, the new account is open to all Muslims willing to make regular deposits towards the cost of the pilgrimage. Speaking to the media, Executive Head of Retail Banking at GCB Bank PLC, Sina Kamagate, assured that the bank has put in place strong measures to protect customers from fraudsters and guarantee a smooth Hajj experience.
We have heard several news in times past of some agents who ran away with monies belonging to potential pilgrims. And so what GCB has done today is essentially saying you no longer have to be saving monies with any personalities. Just open a Hajj account with us, which is actually a savings account. Build up your savings. When it is time for your journey, would help you by transferring that money to the Hajj account in the name of your designated Hajj agent. And so typically, this is what the product is about. On top of this, we have provided some value adds, and that is the embedded insurance that we are going to give to the customers at no premium. And so we have a coverage for death. We don't pray for our customers to go and no return, but death is inevitable. If it happens, there's some money we'll pay to the families of the deceased. Again, we also have insurance coverage for theft and loss of properties and a lot more. This is what we are doing as a bank to give back to our Muslim societies who have always remained loyal to us.
Representing the Muslim community, lecturer at the Islamic University College, Mohammed Amin Lamte, praised the initiative, commending GCB Bank for introducing a product that meets both the financial and spiritual needs of Muslims preparing for the holy pilgrimage.
A lot of Muslims are super excited with the introduction of this new Hajj account by GCB. The pilgrims would love to go to Hajj, but sometimes source of finance and how they prepare to go to Hajj is a problem. So GCB is coming out with this product to ease the pressure, to make sure that people will reshape their intention on how to save money before they go to Hajj. I can decide that in the next 2 years or in the next 1 year, I want to go to Hajj. So I start saving. When my money gets to the point of me traveling to Hajj, I don't have any problem. I don't go knocking someone's door that I want to go to Hajj.
And that's Business Live, everyone. Thanks for watching. More news on our website, myjournline.com/business. Ghana ineligible to receive U.S. foreign assistance from 2026 financial year under MCC. We dealt a bit with that. Also, new IMF resident representative for Ghana, Dr. Adrian Alter, assumes office. myjournline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for watching.